Hey guys, Jonathan was that here for JM Sports 100, the JM Sports Show. How is it going? I'm here to make college football picks for Saturday, October 15th, 2016. It is week 7 of the 2016 college football season, and we are coming off a week last week that I am honestly very disappointed by. Um, we still got our fair share of wins, but any of you who know me or who have followed me for a long period of time know that losing is not an option to me, and I am very competitive with every game that I pick, even though I'm not going to win every game. A week like we had last week really irritates me, and it causes me to try even harder um, in the next week. And the last couple weeks really have been pretty bad, but last week was definitely one that I am not pleased with at all, as we were only able to pull off a 33 and 20 record. Now, as you guys know, my goal coming in every week is to have no more than 10 losses. Well, we had 20 last week, including 18 on Saturday. So I was, well, actually, it was 17 on Saturday, and then we lost one of the two games that had been rescheduled to Monday due to the weather. So, not very happy about that. So, hoping for a better bounce back this week, and we have a record now with all of that of 316 and 88 on the year. We have 3,769, 1,233 is the lifetime record. And I talked about hopefully being able to have a good bounce back from last week, and so far we are off to a good start with that, as we are 5 and 0 so far on the week in college football. All the picks have been made on Twitter and on Facebook, except for the one on Wednesday. I actually did not get that pick out. So I'm hoping you guys just trust me on this. I did have Appalachian State beating Louisiana Lafayette. I don't think it was that difficult of a pick to make. They got the win there, 24 to nothing. There was a game scheduled for Thursday between 25th ranked Navy and East Carolina. That game was postponed. Then on Friday, we had some tight game. We had Louisville. Number 7 Louisville beating Duke. They did that 24 to 14. Memphis also beat Tulane 24 to 14. We won that one. San Diego State over Fresno State 17 to 3. And I said also, if you go back and look on Facebook if you want, I said I was taking BYU in what was going to be a very close game. It did end up being a close game indeed, double overtime, 28-21. BYU beats Mississippi State. So, let's get to the picks for Saturday, but before we do that, I do want to just quickly say this. There are a lot of games this week that some of the picks I'm not real sure about, and it's not because it's not really big time games as much as it's just games that, you know, 1-4 teams against 0-16 or whatever. Those aren't exact records of a game I'm talking about, but teams like that, the teams that don't really get a lot of recognition, that I don't pay a lot of attention to either. So we'll see how that goes. That's kind of what's been hurting us the last several weeks as well. Here we go. Lafayette takes on Army, and I'm going to go with Army. Vanderbilt takes on Georgia. I'm going to go with Georgia. North Carolina State takes on third-ranked Clemson. I'm going to go with Clemson. Minnesota and Maryland. This is one of those games right here that I think is going to be really, really close. I am going to go with Maryland to get the win, but like I said, I think it'll be a close game. Iowa and Purdue. I am going to go with Iowa. I'm always shaky when it comes to picking Iowa now, but I will go with them here. Kansas State and 19th ranked Oklahoma. I think Kansas State is going to put some points on the board against Oklahoma, but I think at the end of the day, Oklahoma wins. 20th ranked West Virginia and Texas Tech. This is going to be a good game like it usually is between these two teams. I obviously expect a lot of points to be scored. West Virginia has really kind of been struggling as of late with they've been able to win games, but they've won them tight. I expect this game to be tight as well. This game could be an upset. I'm not going to call for it. I've got West Virginia getting the win. Illinois takes on Rutgers. I do think Rutgers is actually going to be able to play a little bit in this game. It's been a while since they've actually been able to play in a game after being dismantled by Ohio State and then really dismantled by Michigan last week. But I think Illinois is going to get the win. I don't feel that great about it, though. Georgia Southern and Georgia Tech. I am going to go with Georgia Tech. Pittsburgh takes on Virginia, and I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in that game. Eastern Michigan takes on Ohio. I am going to go with Ohio, but I don't feel that fantastic about it. I do think that game will be somewhat competitive. Kent State takes on Miami of Ohio. I've got Kent State keeping Miami of Ohio winless. Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. I'm going to go with Western Kentucky. Wake Forest and 14th ranked Florida State. I'm going to go with Florida State. 24th ranked Western Michigan takes on Akron. I am kind of interested in this game, though. I am going to go with Western Michigan. Ball State and Buffalo. Give me Ball State. Bowling Green takes on Toledo. Give me Toledo. Pardon me. Next up, we have Central Michigan taking on Northern Illinois. I am going to go with Central Michigan. Louisiana Tech and UMass. I'm going to go with Louisiana Tech. Kansas takes on 11th ranked Baylor, and I'm going to go with Baylor. Number 1 Alabama takes on number 9 Tennessee. Some people say this game is going to be close. To be honest, I don't really think this game is going to be all that close. Tennessee, like I said it last week, I'm not really that comfortable with them. They barely lost to Texas Tech or Texas A&M last week. Rather, they were fairly competitive in that game. I don't think Alabama slips up here, even though it is on the road in Knoxville. I think Alabama gets the job done. USC takes on Arizona, and I'm going to go with USC. New Mexico takes on Air Force. I am going to go with Air Force in that game. 10th ranked Nebraska and Indiana. Give me Nebraska. North Carolina and 16th ranked Miami. I am going to go with the Canes here. I think the Canes are going to be extremely angry at losing, basically due to a missed extra point against Florida State last week, so I have the Canes getting the win. Northwestern and Michigan State, I'm honestly not very comfortable picking this game, but I am going to go with Michigan State. I do think they've got to turn it on eventually, and I think they'll do it at home against Northwestern. Georgia State takes on Troy, and I'm going to go with Troy. 17th ranked Virginia Tech takes on Syracuse, and I'm going to go with Virginia Tech. Missouri and 18th ranked Florida, give me Florida. 21st ranked Utah takes on Oregon State. Oregon State coming off of a big win against Cal last week, kind of an upset win. I think Utah is going to be able to beat Oregon State on Saturday. New Mexico State and Idaho, don't feel that great about it, but I'm going to go with Idaho. Florida International and Charlotte, I am going to go with Charlotte in that game there. Florida Atlantic takes on Marshall. I don't remember who I picked, so I'm going to move on and look at my sheet here and see. UTSA takes on Rice, and I'm going to go with UTSA. 12th ranked Ole Miss and 22nd ranked Arkansas. I am going to go with Ole Miss to get the win, and I'm not sure that it is much of a game. I do have Marshall getting the win. So back to the Florida Atlantic Marshall game. That's going with Marshall. Texas State and Louisiana Monroe. Give me Louisiana Monroe. South Alabama and Arkansas State. Give me Arkansas State. UConn takes on South Florida, and I'm going to go with South Florida. Tulsa and 13th ranked Houston. I'm going to go with Houston. Iowa State takes on Texas. A lot of turmoil going on in Texas right now, obviously, with Charlie Strong. I think Iowa State's going to push on Texas a little bit. Iowa State has been one of those scrappy teams so far this year. But I'm going to go with Texas to get the win, though. Southern Miss and LSU, give me LSU. Stanford takes on Notre Dame, and honestly, good Lord, you tell me. I don't know. I don't know what to say about either one of these teams. I'm not comfortable about it. I don't feel great about it. But I'm going to go. Oof. I really. I'm still coin flipping. So, uh, I guess I'm going to go with Notre Dame. Like I said, I don't feel fantastic about it, but we'll go there. Temple and UCF, I am going to go with UCF. Arizona State and Colorado. I've got Colorado to bounce back nicely against Arizona State after losing at the Coliseum to USC last week. Second ranked Ohio State, 8th ranked Wisconsin. I am getting dismantled for my treatment of Wisconsin this year. I've picked them to lose every big game, and they have won all but one of them, all but the Michigan game. And even in the Michigan game, even though it was not pretty, they were able to stay competitive. Thanks in some part to Michigan. I don't think they stay competitive here in this game, though. I have Ohio State going into Madison and getting the win. Colorado State and 15th ranked Boise State. I'm going to go with Boise State. UCLA and Washington State. I'm going to go with UCLA. Nevada and San Jose State. I am going with Nevada in that game. And last but not least, UNLV takes on Hawaii, and I'm going to go with Hawaii in that game there. So, probably the one I'm least confident about right now, there's several, but that Stanford Notre Dame game beats me. Neither team has played even somewhat well these last couple weeks. So, it honestly beats me. You've got back-to-back major blowouts if you're Stanford, on the road at Washington a couple weeks ago, and then you lost at home to Washington State 42 to 16. What is going on there? Um, Something is clearly a bit of a miss over there with David Shaw and Stanford right now. And sorry, I'm actually still talking about this game. I just trying to make sure I'm comfortable with that pick and making sure that is really what I want to do. Um, Here's the thing. I mean, Notre Dame has been losing games, but they've been in them. They've been competitive. They're at home, and that I think that is why I'm going to go with and stick with Notre Dame. But I wouldn't be surprised to take a loss in that game. So anyway, guys, don't forget to like the JM Sports Show page on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Links, as always, are down in the description. If there's not college picks here, they're probably there. NFL picks, too. NFL picks have not been touched yet for this week. They will be up either tomorrow, either in one video where I just do kind of like a rapid fire, or just on Facebook. So go ahead and be sure to be on the lookout for those as well. I am Jonathan with up for JM Sports 100, the JM Sports Show, and I will see you guys later.